The title of my favourite movie has changed a lot as I've grown up. I was never really able to properly enjoy films as a kid thanks to my low attention span.
Thanks for that one, Ort.
But now, as an adult, I've really grown an appreciation for films. Now, if you'd asked me what my favourite film was like a week ago from the time I'm recording this, I would have said Little Shop of Horrors, thanks to its brand of humour and a soundtrack catchy enough to permanently rewire your brain patterns. But then, one night, I became obsessed with a show known as Neon Genesis Evangelion. Now, considering how long I've been on the internet, you'd be surprised to know this was really the first anime I've truly become obsessed with. But you know what they say, when it rains, it pours. And now I consider The End of Evangelion to be my absolute favourite movie I've ever watched. Part 1.
Robots in the sky!
Robots in the sky? This is just like that dream I had once about robots in the sky.
Tell it to us in excruciating detail, Tails.
Well, it was a whole dream. Bye.
Okay, so for those of you who are not aware of the Evangelion lore, just go watch the series. I'm not going to sit here and explain every little plot point to you. This is a YouTube video, not a school assembly. So all you really need to know is this. The series follows four main characters who pilot giant mecha known as Evas. The Evas share DNA with a being known as Adam, who is an angel who created Lilith, the second angel. Our main characters are Shinji, a depressed boy who wants nothing more than to be wanted and respected by those around him. Asuka, a narcissist whose superiority complex comes from mother-related childhood trauma. Misato, who is also here. And Rei, who is a clone of Lilith in a new body. You got all that? Good. Because holy shit, End of Evangelion is so fucking peak. Oh my god. Part 2. Okay, fine, let's just get it out of the way. So Shinji just killed Kaoru, an angel with the soul of Adam who took the form of a human and befriended Shinji, becoming a close friend to him, and maybe even something more. Shinji is understandably pretty upset about having to kill his gay best friend. Add this onto the fact that Asuka is in a comatose state, and it's safe to say that Shinji is at a real low point at this point in the story, which, unfortunately, leads us to the infamous hospital scene. Oh boy. Shinji tries to awaken a still comatose Asuka, accidentally revealing her bare chest. Shinji then proceeds to pleasure himself over Asuka's body. Now, I know this scene is disgusting and terrible and heinous and all those words, but this scene isn't really just done for shock value. As disgusting as it is, it really does make sense. Shinji is just a depressed and confused young boy, faced with so much torment and suffering that he is unable to stop himself from giving in to his urges. So no, this isn't just an out-of-nowhere NSFW moment. It's a real look at how far gone Shinji's mental state is by this point in the story, but it still gets worse. Part 3.
Everyone died. The end.
A full-scale military invasion of the Nerve headquarters has begun, and Misato quickly jumps into action, sending Asuka and Eva 02 away to safety, and escorting Shinji, who by this point is so disheveled that she has to physically drag him along with her, ultimately leading to her being fatally shot by an agent. But just when you think everything seems hopeless, Asuka wakes up and starts fighting off the invasion with Eva 02. That is until the MPAs, or mass-produced Evas, are deployed, and with their regeneration, are able to overwhelm and ultimately kill Eva 02, taking Asuka along with it, the voice actress delivering the single best scream I've ever heard in a film. Back at the headquarters, Misato tries to convince Shinji to pilot the Eva 01, unable to get him to budge until she uses the one motivator that Shinji still has, his sexual urges. She kisses Shinji and pushes him into the elevator, just as she keels over and dies from her injuries, which Shinji knew would happen the whole time, just two more heartbreaking losses in his tragic existence. Eva 01 eventually wakes itself up and takes Shinji into battle, where upon seeing the mangled corpse of Eva 02, he snaps, letting out his own blood-curdling scream, the straw that finally breaks the camel's back. Part 4. You depressed yet? Good, because there's still more, you cuck. Rei fuses with Lilith, becoming whole once again and now able to grant a single wish to Shinji, and with the soul of Lilith and the body of Adam, the Tree of Life is created, bringing us to Part 5. That part seemed a bit short. Human instrumentality. Shinji is confronted by the souls of his friends, singling out Asuka and berating her about never understanding him, pleading with her to be nice to him and confessing his love to her, which she firmly rejects, not because she doesn't share the feelings, but because Shinji never loved himself, always turning to others to fill that void for him. This, in turn, causes Shinji to start choking her, the last bit of humanity he had taken away by the person he loved the most. Shinji is unable to find inner peace, and as a result, all humanity will be wiped out, with all becoming one in a world where no one can feel anything. Not love, not pain, not anything. And seeing a world where this is the case finally causes Shinji to come to his senses and reject instrumentality, accepting the fact that people will hurt him and sometimes not understand his pain, but there's also the same chance that people love him, understand him, and accept him. Because instrumentality made him realise that he'd rather live in a world where he can feel pain than live in a world where he can't feel anything at all. Shinji accepts the pains and betrayals that life has and returns to existence, the rest of humanity given the option to do the same if they wish. The only other person we see reject instrumentality is Asuka, sitting alone with Shinji on a beach. In this moment, they are the only people on Earth, and Shinji once again chokes Asuka, but instead of hate and rejection, she strokes his cheek, showing him real love and affection for the first time, ending the movie with one last word. And whether this was directed towards Shinji, herself, or the situation Earth has found itself post-Third Impact, it is a chillingly fitting note to end this film on. And the best part about all of this, everything I just said might not even be true. Part 6.
Let me break it down for you, Mark.
The true magic of the End of Evangelion is that it's completely left open to interpretation, especially in its ending. Whether you see it as a good ending, a bad ending, or some kind of strange middle ground, there is no true answer, nothing is definitive. That's what's kept the fandom questioning this scene for all these years. That's what makes new fans like me have their jaws drop to the floor. That's what makes this movie special.